Rebellion, massive fucking flop. 6 million, 5 episodes, nearly $1 million per episode. You just don't see it. Crappy looking costumes, poor acting, poor archetypes, we'll say, for certain characters. I mean, I can really get into this. They make Countess Markovich look like a psychopath. She pulls a gun at one stage and puts it to another woman's head when she kind of questions how she's kind of scared of guns or doesn't know how to work a gun or something. And she goes, "Oh, you just put it to their head like this and pull the trigger." Comes across as very militantly aggressive. And people who have studied Countess Markovich will know that she was a very passionate person. She did a lot for the homeless people in Dublin and things like this. There's also suggested undertones of misogyny going on, particularly with the character of Patrick Pearse. At one stage, one of his messenger women comes and he doesn't let her into a meeting or something like this, and they're kind of staring at each other for a moment, and she's like, "Am I not a part of this?" But she wasn't a leader in the Rising, essentially. She doesn't understand the structure, basically, of a resistance. That Patrick Pearse is the brains of the operation, and the leaders are working out things, and she has a position within that structure to do things. But she's like, "Oh, why can't I know the plans?" Well, you can't know the plans because you're a foot soldier in this war against the English, essentially, like that. But it's pushed as, well, it's just because I'm female. And females like Countess Markovich and some of the nurses within the city had a great place in the Rising. Now, I don't want to overstate their position in the Rising, because it was very male orientated because of the time, essentially. And so the plot of Rebellion kind of skips along with bad scripting, bad character arcs. I agree the importance of the women should be highlighted in it, but I'm not necessarily sure that we should have seen it from 3 kind of points of view. There's 3 women, essentially, they're main characters in the show, and they're kind of from different classes of society. But yeah, the cherry on top of all of this is that when the executions are happening and James Connolly is about to be shot by a firing squad, RTE decides, actually, we need to make some money back on this because the ratings haven't been so good for this show. So maybe we need to inform them that they need to watch the RBS Six Nations rugby match that's coming up in a few days' time. So we'll just stick a little advert over this execution that's, it has this historical significance, James Connolly's execution, and it's because it was also, he was tied to a chair, obviously, and it was one of the last executions as well. So, RTE go out of the way to throw on an advert on top of the 1916 executions, as you do. And so this really shows where RTE's mindset is at, that they prioritise advertisements over the historical significance of a specific moment. Like, maybe even just to put that advert at the start of the show if you wanted, but Jesus, not during the executions of the Rising's leaders. I mean, you might as well have fucking played a McDonald's ad at the bottom of it saying "I'm loving it" or something across the side of it. I mean, it was just completely tactless, and one of the reasons again why RTE is failing to reach out to numbers of people, because when they're trying to draw people in, they just fuck it up, essentially, like they always do. So nothing new there, really.